Are you ready to discover the potential of artificial intelligence in job creation and the displacement it might cause? Manuj Aggarwal, founder of Tetranoodle Technologies, unveils the surprising truth about AI's impact. Prepare to be captivated by the possibilities. Find out how business owners like you can harness AI's power to your advantage, but beware of the unexpected twist that may leave you questioning everything.
Welcome to Biz Help for You with host Candy Messer. Entrepreneurs like to focus on the big picture, like profitability, success, and a smooth running organization. But there always seems to be those little things like taxes, employee compensation, laws, regulations, and more. Now you can get the answers you need in one place. Join us today as we break it all down for you. Now, here's your host, Candy Messer.
Hello and welcome to Biz Help for You with Candy Messer. Thank you for joining me today. If you missed my last episode and would like to listen to the show, links can be found on my social media pages as well as multiple favorite podcast platforms. And if you'd like to receive notifications on when my podcasts have been uploaded, please like and subscribe. Let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. Manuj Aggarwal is the founder and chief innovation officer at Tetranoodle Technologies, an elite AI consulting company. Manuj, through Tetranoodle, has served clients like Microsoft, IBM, Pearson Education, and touched at least 10 million lives and generated over 500 million in value through his expertise in technology and AI. He has spoken at prestigious venues like the United Nations alongside distinguished figures like the Secretary General and Nobel Peace Prize winners, while President Obama and Bill Gates have recognized his work. Manuj has 4 patents in AI and has authorized 2 books on technology. So Manuj, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
And before we get into the actual questions on this topic, I'd love for you to share your story. How did you become the founder of Innovation Officer at Tetranoodle Technologies?
Well, the story is that, I immigrated to Canada in 1998, and that was dot-com boom time. I've been in software. I had 3 or 4 years of experience in software when I immigrated. And it was easy to get a job. So I got a job within 4 weeks of landing in Canada. But then I also lost my job because of, all the economic sort of upheaval that was going on. First, it was dot-com bust that happened in a year around 2000. Then September 11th happened, and the Gulf War started. So I lost about 4 jobs in 2 years. And then I realized that, this job security thing doesn't exist. It doesn't matter whether you are in a developing country or a developed country. It's just how things go in the economy. And that sort of forced me into starting my own company and working with other startups, other companies, providing them my expertise in software and technology. So that's how it happened.
Nice. Well, we're going to be talking artificial intelligence, and I know a lot of people are really excited about it. Some people are a little nervous about it. So I would love for you first to just talk about what are some of the common misconceptions about artificial intelligence that you've encountered, and how have they influenced your perception of this technology?
Well, the biggest one is that, AI is going to take away all our jobs. And I mean, this is generally how humans react when they don't really understand the technology. And the other thing is like how AI and automation and robotics has been showcased in Hollywood movies like Terminator. It has also created a lot of apprehension in people's minds. So the idea is that even if we look at any other technology, like when the car was invented, people said this is the devil's vehicle. Even when the internet was just coming up, like around year 95 is the year when I first started using the internet. And in year 2000 or 99, there was a big scare about Y2K that, everything is going to crash and banks are going to run out of money and whatnot. So this is a typical human reaction to any new technology. But the idea is that AI is as impactful as fire or electricity. So yes, it may displace some jobs, but it will also create many more jobs, especially those jobs that it'll create. They'll be more fun and higher paying jobs. They will not have as much sort of drudgery of work that we typically see in current day job. Like if I look at stats, it says about 75 to 80% of the people are disengaged at work around the globe. That means, yes, they have a job, but they're not enjoying what they're doing. So AI is going to help offload the things which are not enjoyable to technology, and humans can focus on things that they are passionate about.
Well, that's a great point. So thank you for sharing that too, because I do know that is one of the fears people have. I've heard that as well too, is that, technology is going to take away the jobs. But I know there's other misunderstandings too, like surrounding the capabilities or the limitations of artificial intelligence. So can you talk about how that would affect the adoption and implementation in different industries?
Humans have been focused on developing their intellect and IQ to solve big problems. So we have so many big problems in this world. We have climate change, we have so many diseases, hunger, drinking water. So much is going on, right? And we have been trying to figure out solutions for these problems for decades. So comparatively speaking, like Einstein had an IQ of like 170 or something like that. Now, AI, as it stands today, it has an IQ of 1,000. So there is no way to compete with that machine at an intellectual level. But what it can do is it can help humans find solutions to big problems faster and better. And as far as implementation in different industries is concerned, many industries have already been adopting AI, and we have already seen the impact of adoption of AI. So when you order something from Amazon and the package shows up the same day or the next day, it's not magic. It's AI routing those orders and making sure that you get them on time. We are recording this podcast sitting across each other, probably thousands of miles. And how that is possible is because AI is working behind the scenes to make sure that we are able to talk to each other in high definition and our sound is clear and whatnot. So AI is already here. Moving forward, we are getting into a sort of exponential growth phase of AI because with the release of ChatGPT and similar platforms, now everyone can use AI. Earlier, it used to be that you had to have a lot of expertise. You had to have a background in computers, software engineering. You had to have capital to be able to use AI. Now everybody can use it. So we are entering an exponential phase, and the idea is that now it's less about which industry it is going to adopt. It is more about whether you are innovative enough, whether you are a risk taker to adopt the latest technology. So once again, if you go back to 1995, if you ask somebody in 1995, hey, do you need an email address or do you need a website? 99% of the people will say, no, I'm good. I've got my white pages. I've got my yellow pages. I'm good. But just 3-4 years later, I remember I applied for my first job in 1998, and I could not apply for an entry-level job if I didn't have an email address. So it was just 3 years in which everything changed. So the question right now is more about who is going to start this process and implement AI in their business, in their small business, and who will say, okay, I'll wait until my next door neighbor does it, or the government pushes it, or whatever it is. The idea is that whoever goes first will have early market advantage, and they will reap the benefits of becoming much more competitive, much more profitable. But people who wait, they will have to play catch up later on.
Right. Well, I do know there have been some problems that have been discussed regarding, like ChatGPT and other platforms similar to that, where, someone maybe put in a prompt and was given some information and then later finds out that that information is not correct. And I'd also tested that myself once just to see, like for the employee retention tax credit, I wanted to see if it gave correct information, and it gave really old information, not like the changes that had happened. So I do know that as any users are going to be, putting things in there, that they need to double check some of the information they're getting. So like, what would you tell someone who is maybe, using it, wanting to learn how to use it properly, but how can they double check that what they're being given is actually still accurate information?
See, first of all, we are in a very early stage of this particular technology, which is ChatGPT, right?
Hmm.
So, yes, there are some rough edges around the corner. And let's again use the same example of the internet. Like, when I started using the internet, we had these dial-up modems that made funny
Hmm.
noises. Sometimes they will
Right.
connect, sometimes they won't connect. So that's the part what I said. Innovators and risk takers,
Hmm.
people who are willing to work with technology even if it's not perfect. So even when the vehicle car was invented, you had to hand crank the
Hmm.
engine. There was no starter. It used to pollute like anything. There was no safety. The body of the car was made out of wood. So
Mm.
the idea is that yes, there are imperfections, but again, if you ask an expert the same questions, even humans make up stuff all the time. Even humans are not correct all the time. Even the
Right.
so-called experts don't know everything. So
Hmm.
yes, you have to be aware of these things, that 5% of the time it may not give you the right information or up to date information. But the idea is that there are now comparative platforms already, like
Hmm.
Google has released their own platform. There's another one called Claude. So a lot of these platforms are coming up which are saying, oh, okay, there's a gap in Chat GPT, so let me fill that gap. That's how capitalism works, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, one product comes in, and then another one creates a better version of it, a better version of it. So the idea is that this is just the beginning of this whole revolution. And
Hmm.
within a year you will see multiple AI platforms, and specifically designed for each industry. For example, seems like you are in taxation and finance industry, so there will be a specific AI for your industry. There will be a specific AI for medical industry. There will be a specific AI for education, and they will be all up to date and accurate, and all of that. But until that happens, we have to work with these technologies and understand the shortcomings as well.
Hmm. Well, I think what you're saying is things are going to be changing over time as things improve. It's just like any type of software we've used for our own businesses. Something goes out, often it's in beta, they ask for feedback and then they make improvements, or over time, you get used to a software and all of a sudden there's like an update, right? And so things are always being changed and updated and, made better. So like you're saying, this is kind of, we're at the start of what this software is. And so, yes, there are going to be problems, but over time, things are going to continue improving. And so I think as we're looking at how things are being used now and how, like I said, in the future, in a year, whatever, it's going to look a lot different.
Mhm.
But what can business owners do, or individuals still, but, I'm talking to business owners on my show mostly, to actually educate themselves on the software that might be available for them, the AI that might be available for them to help make their business run more efficiently and know like what might be the best fit for them?
See, the idea to use a new technology is just to get started. So I recommend people, small business owners, wear so many hats.
Hmm.
We generally, small business owners are taking care of the finances, the sales, and the marketing, and all of that stuff, right? So I tell small business owners, look at where are you spending most of your time. So I'll give you a couple of examples to make it easier. We were working with a group of real estate agents, and it turns out that 80% of their time is spent in communication with
Hmm.
their counterpart, like their associates, their customers, their prospects. So constantly they are on the phone, they are emailing, they are doing all of these things. So we said, okay, if we start to implement AI, how much time can we save in that process, in communication, writing out emails and things of that nature. And it turned out like we could save almost 50% of their time a week. So we can give them 20 hours back, right? And this is just a small example of how we can start to take baby steps and say, where am I spending most of my time? And if I start to take baby steps in automating these things, how much time can I get back? Because time is the most precious commodity for small business owners specifically, right? Because if you get like even 4 or 5 hours in a week back, you can put that into growing your business in other ways or whatever. The other aspect is, where are you losing money, or because of mistakes you are getting frustrated? Because again, typical scenario for small business owners is like they don't have a large team, they don't have a lot of resources, and then they are going a million miles an hour and mistakes happen or things get overlooked. So how can you use AI to make sure mistakes don't happen? And you're sending your invoices on time, you're getting paid on time, all of these things. If you start to use AI and start to automate these things, like how much money and time it can save. And then you gave a good example, like we also hire people externally, subcontractors, lawyers, accountants, so I'm really good at technology, but I'm not really good at like minor details, reading documents, especially legal documents and things of that nature. So in my business, we started using AI for writing basic contracts and understanding what is in the contract. If we are sent a contract, like a huge 15-page contract, it used to be a nightmare to go through each and every clause and understand what it all means. But now we can, with AI, we can like just simplify the language so that we can understand what are we signing. And same way we can write simple contracts. So I mean, in various ways, it is saving time, money, frustration, sort of level of anxiety. That's huge, right? And then the other thing is, this is like with everything in life, once you start using it, the fear of like sort of, approaching it goes down. Then your mind automatically starts to build ideas upon ideas and say, oh, if I can use it here, I can use it there, and so on and so forth.
Right. Well, while you were talking, I had a couple thoughts. One of the thoughts that I, was thinking about was, I know one time I had somebody who said, like, well, what is it that you even do in your business? Because the computer does everything. And I was saying, actually, no, right? Like the computer will fetch banking data, but we still have to review and make sure it's posting to the right accounts. And if you're just trusting the computer to do things, often it makes mistakes. So you still have to have a human kind of looking at things and doing that work. And so I think we want to make sure that there isn't this misconception that like the computer is going to do everything for you or AI is going to do everything for you. But the other thought I was having was, as you were talking, I'm thinking, yeah, a lot of this could save us time and give us back a lot of time. But I think we also need to think of the customer experience and how is that going to affect their perception of us? Because I know I've had situations where maybe you're going to a website and like the chatbot pops up and you're trying to get an answer and it doesn't answer the question and I can't find the right answer and I'm having a hard time just getting to talk to someone to get an answer. So for me, that becomes very frustrating. So I think we have to kind of balance the two. Is yes, it may save us time, but we may lose customers because they don't like the way we're using that technology. So what would you say about like those kind of things too, that AI does help, but it could also have some consequences that you maybe don't intend?
See, the first part of the question is, yes, humans will never go out of the equation. Even if we get the smartest AI, only human can understand what other humans need. A machine cannot understand that. And yes, machines are always going to continue to make mistakes because as humans, we are the ones who create these machines, these algorithms. And by definition, we cannot predict the future, how things are going to go. And so that's the reason why machines are always going to make mistakes. As far as user experience is concerned, once again, the reason why we get frustrated with technology is because even if we consider the present age where we think, we are very advanced technologically, technology is not at par with humans. So when you talk to a chatbot, it's just built on specific rules and says, if the customer asks this, then tell them this. If the customer asks this, tell them this. It's almost like, sometimes when you talk to, no offense to anybody, but sometimes you talk to a junior customer representative, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are just going through a script, and no
Mm-hmm.
matter what you tell them, they are only going to talk about the answers that they have in front of their script. Now imagine if you replace that junior customer service representative with a senior vice president who has had 20-30 years of experience in that industry, and now they
Mm-hmm.
are answering your questions. How different will that customer experience be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we are replacing those primitive ways of building chatbots with very smart, intelligent AI that has not even decades, but you have to recognize these AI platforms have the wisdom of the entire human civilization. So they have access to thousands of years of intellect. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the quantum leap and jump that we have made in a few years, right? So going from
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, these are the 10 questions you can answer, but now you can, like, with AI you can access, like, what did Plato say about this, what did Socrates say about this, what was the situation in Roman. I mean, I'm just like creating these exaggerated example to demonstrate
Mm-hmm.
how it will actually improve customer experience. And we have seen that
Mm-hmm.
in real life as well. Like, again, simple example, Amazon. I mean, just 10 years ago, there was no alternative to buy something, pay a hefty shipping fee, and God knows when it was going to arrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And today everyone knows, oh, one day shipping is pretty much standard. Like, it's an expectation
Right.
now, right? how
Mm-hmm.
how is that possible? That's the level of experience that has improved for customers using technology and AI.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would you say also to someone who, because I have heard people out there now saying, like, use AI technology to help you write your book or to, do these different things. So what would you say about having content that's truly yours and maybe using AI technology to maybe help you write things maybe a little smoother? Maybe we're not the best writers, but, maybe not depending 100% on AI writing stuff for you. And how does that work even with like copyright and things like that at some point? Because I know this is a new thing that a lot of people are looking at using this to help them write.
So let's think about this, right? Writing was invented about 7,000 years ago. Okay. The very first time writing was invented, I believe they used like charcoal and some like leaves, to write. And then they said, okay, we can make some paper out of this these plants and something like that, and we can create some professional inks. Then, in a year 1500, printing press was invented. Yeah. And
Mhm.
then we started getting computers, and we started these word processor. Microsoft Word came in. All of these things are tools that helped us to take our thoughts and put it out there in the world, right?
Mhm.
Many times what happens is we use spell check today,
Mhm.
and to make sure that we didn't make any mistakes. Now with AI, it's another tool that can help us express our thoughts very quickly and easily with accurate description of what we are trying to say, right? So it is just a tool. Now we are in a transition period where there is going to be a lot of confusion about how much can we use this AI, how much editing do we need to do,
Mhm.
how it infringes on copyright. All of these things will need to get resolved by taking into account everybody's opinions and how the market responds to it, how the regulations come into play. All of these things will happen. But at this point in time, we just need to use our individual judgment that if I write everything by AI, what is my contribution, right?
Mhm.
So that is an individual decision at this point in time. But my opinion is, if you are doing some creative work, then have the honor and passion to add some creativity to it, rather than just saying, let the computer do it. Again, I'm not judging anybody for anything. I'm just sharing what the technology is, where we stand today.
Right.
And a lot of people are using it to write and spew out content without any editing or any of their own personality. If it works for them, so be it, but sooner or later, I believe the internet will be flooded with all this, and it will not be rewarded for the lack of human touch. Human touch is everything, right?
Right, exactly. Well, I know we're running short on time, so I would love to ask you if there's any other information that you wanted to share on this topic that I didn't know, to ask a question about.
All I can say is, don't give in to the fear and misinformation about AI. AI is going to add about $10 trillion to the world economy by 2030. So it's a huge opportunity to make a lot of progress, a lot of money, make a lot of wealth, grow your business. So focus on the right information and implement it.
Okay, perfect. I was just going to ask if you had an offer that you would like to share with our listeners and how they can connect with you if they have additional questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are launching multiple AI tools, and we are launching an exclusive AI community for business owners who want the right information, who want the right tools. And to answer your questions about how people can implement AI today, that is a big challenge for most people, and we are solving that. So if anybody is interested in using AI, getting ahead, get in touch with us. You can find me on LinkedIn or go to my website, manujaggarwal.com, or just find me on the internet. Like, I'm easy to find with my name, and get in touch and tell us, what kind of business you are running and how you are thinking about using AI. We'll be able to help you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Manuj, for being a guest on my show and talking on this topic. I know it can feel overwhelming for so many people, but they want to get educated. So I think it was important to have this discussion. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in today. I hope you found this topic interesting and enjoyed the informative discussion. Would you please share my show with those you know and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform? I'd really appreciate your support. If you have any additional questions or comments, be sure to reach out to my guest at any of the links that they shared, or you could send me a message at media@abandp.com. I hope you can join me for my next interview. And remember, you can connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And my website is abandp.com. This episode is sponsored by Affordable Bookkeeping and Payroll Services. If you are overwhelmed trying to handle the financial aspects of your business, ABP is here to help. Contact us today to discuss your needs at 310-534-5577 or contact@abandp.com. My team and I are eager to assist you. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.